Pisces, happy birthday. This is your monthly March 2020 reading. Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. For March 2020, your intuitive hit, as I was shuffling off camera, I feel there are a couple different groups for Pisces, February coming into March as it relates to relationships. I feel as though a lot of you are finding your like-minded tribe, groups of you. I feel as though Mercury retrograde had aspects of you come to terms with, am I with the right partner? Did I choose accordingly? I feel as though some of you have become enlightened as to whether or not you're in the right partnerships. I feel as though some of you, I feel as though Mercury retrograde was good for a lot of you. That previous partnerships have come back, or previous exes have come back, and it allowed some of you to awaken to the fact that maybe, and a lot of people will say, leave the past in the past. However, I think for some Pisces, you recognize that you've taken accountability and responsibility for your part in what may have went wrong in previous relationships, and you're willing to have another go around, right? And that's what I'm sensing for some of you. Okay, so we're going to look at what March holds. Clear, concise messages, please, Universal Spirit, for Pisces for March 2020. Yep. The central issue, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, right? So we have air energy. We have the element of air. So there could have been endings, right? The 10 of the swords, we have the ending of a cycle. So some of you could be ending a relationship at a crossroad with the 2 of swords. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I end this relationship? With the 2 of swords, I'm at a stalemate too, right? So some of you are ending relationship. Some of you are deciding, or at a crossroad, do I end this relationship for another relationship? I feel as though with Mercury retrograde, this very well could be, and with your new moon here also, enlightenment, with Mercury retrograde being in your sign nonetheless. Previous relationships returning, as I mentioned on the onset of this reading, with previous relationships returning. Do I end my current relationship and give my previous relationship a second chance? That's what I'm feeling, the central issue here. Universal light source, please. What's helping or hindering? What's crossing the central issue for Pisces, March 2020, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus? What's crossing this? What's helping or hindering? Clear, concise messages, thank you. Could be dealing with a Scorpio, death, rebirth. Again, are we going to end this? are we deciding between two people? How are we transforming? What's the change here? What are we becoming enlightened to individually, autonomously, within ourselves and within the relationship? How is this going to help or hinder the central issue with the Death card? This is inevitable. Obviously, as a major arcana, this is what's happening behind the scenes. This we can't change. We can co-create. I mean, this is fated though. So, but how can we co-create this? This is happening whether we like it or not. What is our responsibility to help or hinder what is transpiring in this situation? And why is all of this happening for dear Pisces? Why? What's at the foundation of this for Pisces for March 2020? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Why? And because they want you on your path, okay? They want to bring you, they want the highest good for all involved, all right? They want you victorious. For some of you, you knew better, okay? For some of you, you put yourself in self-imposed situations. You settled for second best. You lowered your standards. So this is all happening to get you where you need to be. All right, this is all happening also in part because you worked for it, right? What happened in the past? What's behind Pisces? What's behind Pisces? March of 2020, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What's behind the situation? What's behind? What's behind? What's behind? Hey, fool. All right, so you have two here. Again, I feel like a lot of this has to do with, for whom this resonates, relationships that either you didn't take a leap of faith with, you didn't take a risk with, that were really stabilized, were really solid, were really grounded. Very well could have been dealing with a Virgo, a Gemini, or an Aries. I see the Fool as all three of those. And with the Pentacles card, a Virgo, Taurus, or a Capricorn. It's something that was really victorious, very good for you, okay, for whatever reason, and we'll get there as to why, just didn't get off the ground previously in the past, okay, and has now come back for you to take another look at. And if this wasn't a previous lover, this is a new way of looking at it, a new perspective, a new cycle in your current relationship that has brought you enlightenment. And if it's not a relationship, it's a relationship with yourself to bring you that self-esteem, that self-value, that way of looking at one's self, self-love and self-worth, and that will bring you to that place that you can share, right, yourself with another. So it's crowning Pisces for March of 2020. That's in Pisces thoughts. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. 2 is coming out again. You have the Empress, beautiful, with the Ace of Swords. So there is clarity here, okay? Taurus, 2, or Libra. So you have clarity, you have higher understanding, there's communication. I'm feeling again this, with Mercury being in Pisces in retrograde, this sense of reassessment, reevaluation. The Empress being nothing but abundance, another major arcana, with the central theme and issue of the 2 of Swords. There was a decision to make here, and the Ace of Swords being in your crowning thoughts, coupled with the Empress and this 10 of Swords, with death. This cycle is just, there's some cycle that has been completed for many of you. You have 2 tens, the Fool. There's a major cycle that is completed. I think both at an individual level and within a relationship. The relationship with oneself and a relation and a major relationship. This is leveling up. Definitely leveling up, like big time. And a decision, huge decision here. What is coming in the future? What is coming in the future here? What is before Pisces from March 2020? Sun, Moon. I'm not going to take those. I'm not feeling it. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Beautiful Pisces, 2020 March. Universal Spirit, Light Source, please. More information, clear, concise messages can you give us? Excuse me, for Pisces, 2020. Beautiful. I feel like there's a huge burden that's been lifted. Closure of karmic cycles. What's coming in? The Hermit. Could be dealing with the Virgo. And the Hermit, as and you can't quite see, the Hermit is shining the light here on the central issue. So I'm going to clarify that. What's coming in? The Hermit goes within. I discussed enlightenment, this inner knowing. This decision as it relates to partnership, transformation and change in making a decision, higher understanding, completion of cycle. What is the Hermit here? I just feel as though some of you know there was a cycle, a huge cycle that completed. Information and clarity and communication had come through as to what path to take. The Hermit, right? Which path to take with this crossroads, with this 2 of Swords, this transformation, this death, this rebirth. Some of you are definitely pregnant. It has to do with the marriage and making a decision to get married. Take that leap of faith in the past. Some of you are making a decision now. Some of you had a lot of options and now know which option to take. Some of you know which path to take. Why is the Hermit here, please? Why is the Hermit here, please? Some of you are walking away. I'm feeling, for many of you, it's a very difficult, this is where the transformation and the change come from. It's a grieving process. It's unfortunate that you now recognize it's water under the bridge, but your 2 cups are still standing. For some of you, it's a divorce as well. For some of you, you're taking the leap of faith. For some of you, you're no longer staying in a committed relationship for the sake of money. You're walking away from the 10 of Pentacles in order to have your 2 of Cups. You're being the fool and you're risking the 10 of Pentacles for the 2 of Cups. That's for some of you. And that's a death. That, unfortunately, feels, right, like the 10 of Swords. That is a decision to be at a crossroads, right? That's certainly, but overall, and you have children with the Empress card, you know, like this is not easy. That's for some of you as well. It's definitely, it's a wake-up call, it's a change, it's transformative. It's recognizing that some relationships have served its purpose. It's severing ties. Which the sun, and you could be dealing with a Leo, shines over everything in the deck. When you get the sun, it doesn't matter what card, it doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter the spread, it doesn't matter anything as far as I'm concerned. The sun shines over everything. So no matter what you're going through, essentially many of you are undergoing a very deep transformative time that I feel as it relates to whatever area of your life, although this is, primarily a love reading, that this is an internal metamorphosis, so to speak. For many of you, you're recognizing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You become enlightened, right, and clear-minded here with the Ace in your crowning position. That you're very abundant with the Empress. That no matter what decision you make, for many of you, that you will be victorious. Many of you are dealing with Leos. You know, you very well could be. This is a beautiful, beautiful spread. Beautiful, beautiful reading. I'm going to pull a rune for you. I love runes. Just to close it out. I hope this was helpful. I hope it resonated for many. For Pisces, for March 2020, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And it is apropos. Possessions, nourishments, fulfillments, and ambition satisfied, loved, shared, rewards received. You are promised nourishments from the most worldly to the sacred and the divine, as above and so below. You're here to nourish God, and you're calling for the deep probing of the meaning of profit and the gain in your life. Whether it's wealth or possessions that require your well-being, you are here for the growth of a will to conserve what has already been gained. It's vigilance and mindfulness in times of good fortune. Do not collapse yourself into the success or to behave recklessly. Enjoy your good fortune and remember to share it. And that the well-nourishment of the self is the ability and the willingness to nourish yourself as well as to nourish others. I'm feeling a lot of what this has to do with is not only the love that you have for another human being, but the love that you have for yourself. And that the more you focus on self-love, and the more you nourish yourself, and the more you nourish other people, and the more that you receive, the more that you have to give. The more that you give, the more you receive. This is a lot to do with severing ties, certainly. But in doing so, for those that this does resonate with, walking away from the Ten of Pentacles, right, in order to gain the Two of Cups. That's difficult. So, love, light, luminous blessings. And ciao for now. See you next month.